All right, fellas. So we're gonna chop it up a little bit, man. Have a conversation
For this.
about something that we talked about in the past. Uh, should a dad be allowed to cry in front of their children? Should a dad be allowed to cry in front of their children? This is a conversation that has been had, I'm sure, 100 different times, man. But we're gonna have it. We're gonna talk about it in a day and age where it is taboo for a father or even a man, in that matter, to show his emotions in any type of way, especially in front of his kids.
Yeah.
Um, what do you
Is
think?
it?
That's sometimes the thumbs up, thumbs down. That's something that you do. Do you show your kids how to regulate your emotions by regulating your own? What do you think about it?
Is it taboo nowadays? I think back in the day it was, but nowadays it's kind of, we got a lot of metrosexuals and, all kind of, what's wrong, huh? I'm just saying, man, it's a free world. You are free to do what you want to whom you want nowadays, is what I'm saying.
Are we talking about crying, man?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, no, like it's all encompassing. Like you can do whatever you want,
Why did you say
and it
that?
seems to be acceptable in
Why did you,
today's fashions.
why did you do that?
I mean, call it what you want, but let's start the conversation here.
Okay.
How often did you see your father cry?
If you're talking to me, I
Mm,
saw my father cry one time. He was with me for 42 years once. I saw him cry once. Once.
mm.
And so crying as it pertains to my father specifically, men didn't really cry. That's not a man thing. Is crying and showing your emotions. You hear words like crybaby and sissy and shit. This is back in the '80s when we was coming up and shit. Like you hear,
Man up.
yeah. I mean that came along later, but like hearing stuff like sissy and little girl and shit. Things that the kids don't really deal with these days.
Yeah. Um, Same here. I I know my father for what was it, 40, about 43, 44 years. And I remember one time that I saw him cry. That was at my grandfather's funeral, his father.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really a boo-hoo thing. It was just I saw a couple tears fall and that was it. And
That's
I've
the top
seen
of the
this man.
mountain.
Yeah, I've seen this man in a
Yeah.
lot of different compromising positions, a lot of family that has passed, a lot of things that would have jacked me all the way up. And he ain't, at least around me, he didn't shed a
Yep.
tear. Never shed a tear.
Earl.
Same for me. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen pops cry, and it was always due to somebody passing.
Yeah.
His mom, his dad, a close
Same here.
relative, something like that.
So the
And it was
longer
more
the
sadness. It wasn't really, crying out of anger or emotion. It was, I mean, the emotion was sadness. That's it.
So, with the generation prior to us, teaching us, raising us, if we're getting that from our fathers and that generation before us, how are we supposed to be? Is it a struggle for us to get to the point where we feel like it's okay? Do we need some type of green light to know that it's okay to share that type of emotion or to show that type of emotion because of the things that were taught to us or the things that we grew up seeing?
All right. I think so.
So you feel like both of you have been in a situation where you had to kind of check yourself inside and be like, no, this is okay. I should be able to do this and it's okay. Are you now you're saying you're comfortable around your wives or family or your kids? You're comfortable with sharing or showing that emotion, crying or whatever the case may be? No?
Yeah, I should
No.
be, but I ain't. I'm still going to hide.
I mean, you are who you are. It's embedded in you. You can't take me after, 30, 40 years, like, act this way now. It don't
Yeah.
work that way.
Yeah.
But I do give my kids the space to,
Yes.
run through the gambit of emotions. And it took my mom to tell me that it's okay.
Well, seeing that your mom has told you that it's okay and seeing that you teach your kids that it's okay, when do you fix or try to take care of what's inside of you and know that it's okay to release that type of emotion? Like, what do we do to fix that? How do we fix that? Are we just stuck in the middle of coming from a generation that doesn't do it to being the generation that teaches our kids that it's okay to do it?
I
Or
think
what do we
if you're
do?
asking me, I think everybody's release is different. You know what I mean? Some people, do it through tears. Somebody like let's say Kobe Bryant or something goes to the basketball court and shoots 1,000 free throws or some such thing like that.
Right. Right.
Release is such a personal thing.
It is.
I mean, like I said, I'd love to be that person. I mean, I feel like I'm more of a new dad than my father was, certainly, but still, those things that are, that just crying in public and losing control, where everybody can see you, that's not really written on my soul, man. I ain't that guy.
Especially as a black man, you can't lose your stuff nowhere, not even in your house, because the police come, it's a whole other set of
So you're saying it's a time and place?
Time to place, hell yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
Time to place for everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what I taught my son, that it was a time and a place. We had a situation where I think he was maybe in 6th grade, and he was on the football team, and they lost a lot of games. And this particular game was really close, and they lost, and I felt like he just couldn't hold it anymore, and it just kind of came out. And when it's a situation like that, you don't know whether or not it's more frustration, anger, sad, or whatever it is. The emotion came out, and he was crying, and all the kids were around. So I remember kind of letting him know, I'm pulling him to the side and kind of helping him get himself together. Like, man, kids are cruel. It's difficult. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion, but in a situation like this, you kind of want to maybe even hold it till we get to the car, maybe, find a different place or a different way to release that, away from that, because you're a kid and you don't know any better. And of course, these kids are wrong for teasing you about the situation.
Yes, sir.
But I'm saving my son from a lot of heartache and teasing and things that can trouble him even further for what he was dealing with and what he was going through. So I've taught that before, that it's a time and a place. It kind of has to be.
The thing about this fatherhood thing is that you get to see the bigger picture. It's like, okay, yeah, this is okay, but here, I want you to think about this holistically.
Right.
What this may cost you in not saying anything's right, because this is not right, but holistically, there are going to be some real consequences to this versus that.
Yeah. Something that you're going to have to deal with for a long period of time. Having that to wherever you are, you're dropping down crying. So if it's a situation where you're frustrated and upset at school, as you get older, the workplace, like, we know as men, we can't just fall out and cry every time something doesn't go the way we needed to or we wanted to. Again, we're not shaming the action, but we know that there has to be a time and a place. Being a man is being able to juggle and wear a lot of different hats. And it's hard to do that when you can't control those emotions. There's nothing wrong with going through the range of emotions. You just have to be able to control those, in my opinion.
Well, let me give you all something to chew on, because what I look at as myself is within my own household is I feel like I'm kind of like, and this is not pat myself on the back, I feel like I want to be the anchor of the unit. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that when things are falling apart, that I'm here just pulling it all. Okay, we just got to stay like this. So just trying. I want sort of like the glue.
Right.
I just feel like once you see people stitches popping, things are going to get problematic. So despite whatever what I know to be, hey, it's okay to cry. It's all right. Everybody cries. Everybody gets sad. Everybody gets this. Everybody gets this. Like you said, time and a place. I'm going to compartmentalize it, put it here in this little box. We're going to cry whatever we need to do here in this little box, and then we're going to move on.
Right.
That's right or wrong, by the way. Not telling you it's right.
Yeah.
Or healthy.
Yeah, we have to find a healthy way to navigate the situation, because we know coming from our fathers and where they came from, that it could be harmful to hold those type of emotions in. So, the difficult part sometimes is being able to understand and learn when it's okay to let it go and to release that. But like you said, release looks a lot of different types of ways. So,
yep.
That's very true.
Not just for your kids, but what about your own mental health and relationships? I used to carry a lot, and then my wife would ask me, "How was your day today?" And then I come with this verbal vomit, just letting it all out, spewing all kind of hateful messages and stuff. Like, and that wasn't cool. Like I was a volcano of just waiting to erupt. So after many conversations, she finally got me to realize that, hey, you got to release some of that. Don't bring all that to me at one time. It's a pressure valve. Release a little bit before it gets too built up to where you're stressing yourself out and it changes your whole family dynamic. So you have to find that space to like you said, release.
That's good advice, man. Sometimes we don't realize and understand how much we carry until we get to the point where we have to get it out some type of way. And whoever's around or whoever's there is usually gonna get the brunt of it. Like, I got this going on, I'm balancing this, I'm carrying this, and it can be a lot, before we end up having to break. Because a lot of us are strong guys, man, strong men that carry around stuff that we've been carrying around stuff for a long period of time. And sometimes it just takes that one thing, that one trigger, and you just like,
You got to unpack that trauma. You got to deal with it because it goes
one way or another. One way or another. Difficult question for everybody in the panel. When is the last time that you cried? And it doesn't have to be a boohoo thing. It could be a shed tears or whatever the case may be. When the last time you shed some tears, man? Been a while?
I don't really remember, man. I mean, probably at my father's funeral. That's probably that if I could, or shortly thereafter, because that's the. When I think of things that are traumatic, good enough for me to cry, that's pretty much the nearest thing I could think of. So,
I was on my way back from my grandmother's funeral, and I mean, I had one of those ugly cries. Like I had been carrying it, holding on for so long. It was just me and my wife on the way home, and it was like, now's the time. Let's get rid of this. So,
for myself, it's funny. It wasn't even that long ago. I did not cry at my father's funeral.
Really?
I didn't. And I was trying to figure out I had so much going on that day. I was just numb. So I never really cried that day. Cried beforehand when he actually passed, the day of his passing, and a little bit afterwards. But on the day of, I think I was so numb to everything. I couldn't. But the last time I cried, and you wouldn't think that it would be something like as trivial as a movie that would bring you to some type of tears.
Yes, I would.
But I was telling Earl the other day, and I was asking him if he watched
The Little Mermaid.
I mean, again, this is zero judgment, but I'm curious at what place in the Little Mermaid.
Jokes.
Pay the Mexican no attention, man.
It was getting a little thick in there. I had to lighten the mood up.
Oh man, you can't joke about the Little Mermaid to somebody with got like 5-year-old.
Hey, that opening scene got him, Herm. He was
see,
I joke. Please, let's get back on track. I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't even remember the damn. But anyway, I had asked Earl last week if he had watched Plata Be Gray. Have you seen that yet, Herm?
What is it called?
What's it called? I think it's The Adventures of Plata Be Gray.
I don't know what that is.
Jackson.
With Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, it's a good movie.
No, I ain't seen that.
Yeah,
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
Okay.
TV. And it's I think a 6-episode series.
Oh, they do the miniseries thing.
Especially somebody for me, man. I can count on one hand how many times I've cried in my lifetime. So really? I was watching this movie, and I'm not gonna give the movie away because I would love our viewers to go check it out because it has a lot of different storylines in it. But the one that I really got a hold of and it really moved me to tears was the fact that he had a lot going on. He had health issues going on, So he was able to kind of feel better in a short term within a month's time. So within that month's time that he was feeling better, he was trying to right all the wrongs that he had done throughout his lifetime. He was trying to fix things before he went out, so to say, so to speak. So
Deal
throughout that
running the
time,
world's premise.
yeah. So it just went to the point where, to me, it made me feel a certain type of way because he was on his deathbed still trying to make things right.
Yeah.
And as a man, especially as a father, it really moved me because I felt my father in that and I felt myself in that. And I was afraid because it made me feel like, am I going to go to my deathbed still trying to make things right? Is that really what a man's thing is? Like, until you close your eyes, you're doing everything that you can just to make things right within your family structure, with your kids, with just with everything. And that's what he was trying to do. And it reminded me a lot of the struggle that I saw my father in a lot of the times and that I see myself in. And not only did it um, kind of bring me to tears somewhat, but it also made me, it scared me because I was like, is this something that, is this just a man's job? Is this what we're here to do? I hope that's not the case. But, with the evidence that I have thus far from what I saw growing up and what I've dealt with up to this point in my life, it really brought me to tears. And you'll know more if you were to watch it. But it was really something that was like, damn, am I going to be in my deathbed telling people what I need to have done in order for things to be right? So,
I tell you honestly, I've started that process myself in the DMs of the interwebs and stuff. I've had to apologize for behavior, towards people, things that I've done because as you all know, when I was a young man, I was a way different person than I am now. So
yeah,
a couple people caught the business end of me, and that and it wasn't the best look.
no,
There's some challenges. There's people that I'm like, you know what? No, you need to come to me. You need to look me in my face and tell me I'm not bridging the gap with everybody. That's
right. Everybody doesn't deserve that.
everybody at the door don't get a key. Okay.
No, no, they do
But
that.
certainly that's something that I'm like you, I'm cognizant of. Hey, listen, I've wronged a lot of people to this point. There's some people that don't like me and got a good reason. And carrying that all the way, and even if it doesn't work out, man, making sure that you made the attempt to say, hey, listen, I've wronged you in this way. I'm going to acknowledge it, ask for your forgiveness, give you an apology, and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, man, it's important. It's just called being accountable for your actions and the things that go on. Ain't
Yeah.
none of us here today on any kind of perfect stuff. No one's perfect.
Not my ass.
Especially when you're living, in the moment, sometimes you don't realize, man. Hopefully when you know better, you do better. So, when you look back and you're like, man, nah, that wasn't cool. That wasn't cool at all. And these dealings are with family, they're with kids, they're with, loved ones, people that you've been in contact with and back and forth, man. So, you know, you want to be able to take inventory on your relationships at certain points in your life and hope to realize that you're not the common denominator in some foolishness. And if you are, being able to go back and be like, hey, man, I was wrong. That wasn't
Man
cool.
up.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yeah, not easy, but certainly I feel like it's a lot of people are owed apologies where I'm concerned, and I'm trying to make sure to do my part and give them
Right.
their due.
Right. So yeah, even more so, that makes me understand, or makes me think that I don't have to be in the same position or place that my father was in and be on
Yep.
my deathbed, wishing that it had been better or anything of that nature. I can kind of take the bull by the horns now and fix relationships that I have the power to fix.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
so so yeah, man. I don't have any issue with that, man. Crying is something that is a normal range of emotion for a man, a human being, and we should be able to do it. Um, I don't know that it will be. It may be a time that I might have to do that and cry in front of my kids. But if I did, I wouldn't have an issue with it, or I wouldn't try to hide it if it was that type of moment and it was,
Absolutely.
something that had to be done. So I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Time and place. I mean, I'm not. That's not really my thing, but there's a time and a place to cry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's cool. That's we can wrap that up there, man, and make us a little 15 to 20 minutes short. And like I said, we can try to knock one of these out once a week so we can start uploading some stuff and have
Yeah,
some
that ain't bad.
library, man. All this other preparing stuff, that's cool too. We can do that too. But when we come right off the cuff with whatever we got going on, we can make some good content doing that too.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Yep.
Yes.
With
Yes.
it. Yep. All righty. I love you, brothers.
Hey, we love you as well, man. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you guys the next time.
We will reconvene,
sure.
man. I'll keep this recording and I'll send it your way, Doug.
Hey, champ. You know, I'm the champ. Remember, I forgot about that.
And
this is that.